Hey everyone, in this lecture we're going to be talking about rulers, grids, and layouts a little bit more in depth. I know we covered a little bit in previous lectures, but in this lecture we're going to be going more in depth about it. First, I want to cover rulers. I just want to cover a couple things on the ruler section, so let's go ahead and dive right on in. Alright, so as you can see, I have a couple rulers here on my canvas, and I have some grids that I've created with them. Now if I go ahead and right click on the top of the ruler, I can go ahead and say remove all vertical lines, and all the lines that I have currently there will be removed. And if I do it on the left side on the horizontal lines, they will be all removed. Now that that is done, I can go ahead and create new lines. Now by doing so, it's a little counterintuitive. In Photoshop and Illustrator, when you selected the top portion, it would be horizontal. If you selected the left portion, it would be vertical. So now it's the complete opposite. This will be vertical and this will be horizontal. So it takes some time to get used to, but just keep that in mind. So I'm going to select the ruler up here, and I'm going to hover over it, and I'm going to go ahead and click and line these up to the shapes I have on my board. And they should automatically snap to your shape. And if they don't, we can go ahead and zoom on in and make some adjustments. Now keep in mind, if your icon goes off the canvas, you cannot make the ruler. It has to be on the ruler section. So let's go ahead and click, and let's go ahead and click. And let's go ahead and zoom on in. And as you can see, they haven't aligned properly, so this is where I can do it a little bit more accurately. So by doing this, they can snap onto the actual bottom of the shapes. And there we have it. Okay, so I have all my lines from my ruler set, and sometimes when you zoom out they might not look perfect, but if you zoom in just to double check, they will. In this case this one's not, so I'm just going to snap it, and there we have it. Okay, so all my lines have been set. Now I've created a grid for myself, but as you can see I have other negative space shapes that I can create. Now this is a great thing. If I go ahead and select my shape tool and the rectangle tool, I can go ahead and create shapes by just selecting and dragging and dropping within there. So now by doing this, I can create shapes from those negative spaces, which is really, really nice. And it should just automatically snap to what we've created. If it doesn't, all you have to do is click it and drag it up to make it snap. Very straightforward, very simple. Now as you can see, my lines on my board are green. Now if I wanted to change the color of that, all I have to do is go to the sketch name, go to preferences, and click on canvas and go down to guide color, and now I can change my color. If I want them to be blue, they could be blue. If I want them to be yellow, if I want them to be pink, or other colors, I can do so by doing that. Really straightforward, really easy to do. Select your color, and there you have it. Your colors have been changed. I had a light green before, but you know what, just so you guys don't get confused, I'll just change this to a purple. And there you have it. There's the new colors. Really cool, really easy to do. Now let's say if you wanted to delete a line and not all the others. How do you do that? Well, you click your line that you've selected here, or that you've placed down here, you click it, and you click and drag to your left, and that will delete it. And if you want to do it from the horizontal one, you click and you drag up, and that will delete it. Now keep in mind, when you do this, you can't hit the undo key to actually undo what you did. You're going to have to go back in and put them back into position, unfortunately. There is no way to undo what you did pertaining to the rulers, unfortunately. So that is the straightforward way to do it. That is rulers. Really, really easy to work with. If you right click, anything you see here is from here, and you can also go to your view tool, and you can hide them by saying show smart guides, clicking it, and that will hide them, not get rid of them. And you can click again to show them. So those are rulers. Next, we're going to be talking about show pixels. Currently I have it selected, but I'm going to uncheck it. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle. I'm going to draw as close to this shape as possible. I'm going to zoom in, and as you can see, it's rasterized, so it's very smooth. But if I go ahead and select show pixels, it will show me what it looks like pixelated. Now I don't really have a need to use it as pixelated because I want everything to be rasterized, so I'm not going to use that option. I just wanted to show how it worked. Now if you wanted to work within grids, you can go ahead and click your view and drop down and say show grids. I showed you how to change the color on these via the grid settings. We can go ahead and change the colors again if we wish. Hit OK, and there we have it. We have our grid set up. Really easy to do. And we can hide it by doing that, or we can show it by clicking, and then we can also right click and do it that way as well. So there are multiple ways to do it. We can even go into the settings via here, and we can change the blockage, whether we want it to be bigger or if we want the line thickness to be smaller. So it's entirely up to you. By creating these grids, they're not going to align to your shapes because you've created your shapes before you even knew about the grids. And if you wanted to align your shapes to the grids, you just click and drag, and they will snap. They should snap to the actual grids that you've created. And by doing that, you might want to hide your current rulers. And there you have it. As you can see, I snapped it to the left corner of this green line. And then finally, if I want to shut this off, I click it again, it shuts off. And then we have show layout. And layout is something pertaining to web design. And again, I'm not going to cover that in this lecture. I'm just going to cover that in the actual web design section so you can understand it when I'm actually making an example. So that is grids, that is rulers, really easy to use, really straightforward. If you need to access any more menus pertaining to the grids or rulers, you can go to Canvas from the view section and drop down, and you can show rulers, show pixels, show pixel grid, show layout. So you can do a lot of the settings you have up here and here. So there are 3 different ways to really get to them. By right clicking on the rulers, by going to this drop down menu, or by going to view canvas. And there you have it. That's a little bit more in-depth look. Hopefully you guys understood it. They are going to come in handy when we start making things. Just wanted you guys to know how they worked. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll be talking about more cool things. See you guys there.